Welcome to Talking Bollocks. It's me. It's Howard. I am back. Your favourite mouth on a stick, rent-a-gob, will work for food. I am back. So are you, and it's good to be back. So here goes the intro. My name is Howard H. Smith. I am the lead singer in UK thrash band Acid Rain. You can find us at acidrain.co.uk. You can find Rain spelled R-E-I-G-N, because obviously some of you won't know that. Also on Facebook, on Twitter. I also do stand-up comedy. You can find me at keithplatt.co.uk. That's the name of my character. I also do comedy as myself. And some would say when I'm fronting Acid Rain, haha, ba-bum. Yeah, so I do all sorts, and I do this podcast, thank you very much, this Talking of Bollocks that you seem to have found, or that you're a regular listener of. Hello. This is yet another episode of Bollocks. So let's go straight in, and not with what's been happening in the world of metal this last month, but more importantly, what's been happening in the world of Talking Bollocks. Hopefully, there is some new bollockers listening who discovered the podcast through the James Murphy special. I've had tons and tons of positive feedback about that. Went to see Life of Agony on Saturday. You're going to hear the interview coming up, but there was a few people, a few Acid Rain fans, a few podcast fans who pulled me aside and said they really liked that. There was the one as well from a guy who I've seen around in I've seen at shows before. Hello, mate. Sorry, I can't remember your name. But he was telling me that he was out for a run listening to the James Murphy podcast. And he got to the end of his run, but the podcast was still going, so he had to go and do more running. So there you go. I'm keeping you fit as well, hey? Not bad, not bad. This, all for the price of nothing. And please do remember, download the podcast when you're on Wi-Fi. You can download the whole thing to your phone, and you can listen to it in bits. Again, I can't believe I have to say this, but people look at the podcast and go, oh, 3 hours, I'm never going to have 3 hours spare. No, you're not. But there's not a story arc going on here. There's not character development. Yeah, you're not going to have to remember where you were and what was going on in the previous part of the podcast. It's just fucking interviews and me jibber jabbering. So, just spread the word, folks, as much as you can, if you would. And like I said, I'm going to have a bit of a moan. I always do, so why not get it in early? My moan is an absolutely classic example of how social media works. I boosted the 2 posts regarding the James Murphy interview, the James Murphy special, and I'm trying to look up the figures now, and my bastard phone, the bastard app has crashed. That's really annoying. Well, anyway, look, the numbers are the trailer for the podcast saying, hey, this is coming soon, did way better than the post with the podcast on it. I put the same amount of money behind the same 2 posts. I sent them out to the same audiences, but the actual podcast was less popular. And that is social media right there for you. People want to be seen to be cool. People want to be seen to be, oh yeah, James Murphy, oh yeah, guy's a ledge, yeah, great lead player, yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, no interest in listening to the interview. No interest in actually taking time out of their day to listen to this so-called hero, this guy who they had everything by and was a great inspiration. No, that is people just trying to be cool, looking, humble brag. Oh yeah, I saw him back in the day with blah and blah, and it's all shit like that. Tons of comments, loads of people liking the post. Then you put the podcast up, breaks my fucking heart. You put it up thinking, well, this stupidly thinking, oh yeah, this is going to go even bigger than that post. No, did just over half the numbers. I'm afraid is the fucking society that we fucking live in. And by the way, here is another little tip from the top for you that my merch company told me. Do you know what they work on? What they work on social media? 100 likes equals 1 sale. That's right. 99 people just clicking the like because, oh, that looks like it. And there's so many people out there, and whenever I see a band or anyone posting on Facebook saying, oh, if we got CDs made, would anyone buy them? Oh, if we got sweatshirts made, would anyone buy them? Do not use Facebook as a market research tool. Please, it is a fucking waste of time. The time it takes to click your finger on a post Yeah, that's not relevant to the effort it takes to actually buy something. Okay, they don't equate to the same thing. So I know a lot of you listening will know that already. Okay, you've heard me moan about it before. In fact, you've heard about me moaning about Michael's suite of Striper, who can't seem to get his head around the fact that they've got 6 million likes on Facebook, but still only get 250 people turning up to their gigs. I'm surprised they get that many, but there you go. Wow, what a bitch! Fuck it. And you know what? I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to completely... I think it's only fair, in the spirit of true transparency, I need to level with all of you. I need to be completely honest. In 40 minutes' time, I was supposed to be interviewing the Butcher Babies. I set the interview up. It took quite a bit of work, fair few emails probably flying around, but it got set up, which is a bit of a coup. And the longer the day went on, I just thought, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do. And I thought, do you know what I'm doing? It's not me. I'm not. You know, I don't really want to speak to him. Do you know what I mean? I've got nothing good to say about what they do. And that's because I don't like it. I'm not saying that, that's just my opinion, fine. But what's the point in getting them on and just kind of like being snide and, justify yourself to me. Thrash metal's never been sexy. What do you mean bring the sexy back? And I just thought, well, they don't need that. I've got my opinion, and I'm allowed it. And they've got their band, and they're allowed it. And those two things can coexist. They don't have to cross over, whereby I'm just basically some sort of cunt bringing them to book, saying, right, why do you do this, and why do you do that? And yes, there are going to be Pro Tools on your album, and all. And it's just like, if in their position, I just think, who the fuck's this dick? Why am I having to justify my existence to this knob? And I don't want to be that knob. I'm happier being this knob, the knob you know, rather than being a different knob, the knob you don't know. So, yeah, I sent an email. I totally put it out and said that I had family issues. Well, yeah, good old straight-talking me. I felt really bad because the woman I've been dealing with has been fucking superb. Put so much time and effort into organising this, and dickhead here just, pulls out at the last minute. That's what I'm known for, ladies. But seriously, I've got to be honest with you and just say I just wasn't looking forward to it. And do you know what? I've had a cloud hanging over me all day, and I couldn't work out what it was. And it was the fact that I wasn't looking forward to it. I love doing these things. You can tell, I'm like a fucking teenager in these interviews, because I'm talking to people that I like, I respect, I like their music, or I've toured with them, or we know each other, whatever. And the Butcher Babies thing was kind of going outside of that remit, which is what this podcast is. And I can't do that interview with the Butcher Babies, and I'd have to do something that just, like I said, I just don't think is me. So I pulled out, and that's not happening. And that's the reasons why. And you know what? The minute I sent the email and said, look, I'm really sorry, and the email back was, oh, no worries, it's not a problem, I felt better. That cloud that had been hanging over my head all day lifted. And all that tells me is I did the right thing. If some of you are listening to this and thinking, oh, you pussy, oh, you... Well, fine, but fuck you. You didn't have to do it. Well, neither did I. I set it up and then didn't do it. It's just... It was the right thing to do. I'm satisfied that it was the right thing to do. So what else has been going on in the world of metal this month? Well, again, sticking with the podcast. Hey! Some of you may have seen on Twitter and Facebook, because I did share it, that I tweeted Dave Mustaine, and Dave tweeted me back. That's right. Obviously not knowing who he was tweeting. He mentioned in a tweet that I was just on Twitter and I saw this tweet pop up from him, and he said, oh, it's a bit late here in London town. So I replied straight away within seconds saying, wow, are you in London? Why don't I come over and do an interview? How annoying would that be? And he replied the following morning saying, no, not at all, I'm not working. Now, a lot of people thought that meant, no, not at all, it wouldn't be annoying. But the I'm not working is the key part, as in, basically it was, can I have an interview? No, not at all. I'm not working. So there you go. But you know what? He didn't need to reply to that. He didn't need. I'm sure he's got thousands of tweets. He didn't have to bother replying to me in any way, shape, or form. So you know what? I've given Dave a lot of shit. Well, and I will continue to. So don't worry. Nothing's changing that much. But fair play, I really do respect that. I really do. I thought that was pretty awesome. What I didn't respect was Sharon Osbourne this month going on about all the women that Ozzy had shagged during his so-called, sex-crazed phase, sex-pest phase, if we're calling it that. Allegedly. I better say that just quickly. But she started reeling off the women. And there's some Russian teenage girl, and there was this. I was just like, does the phrase doing your dirty washing in public mean nothing to you? Have you been in reality TV and this sort of open wound TV where you just sit on TV and talk about all your problems? Like, have you been in that world so long that you don't have a filter anymore of stuff that maybe should not be in the public, out there in public? Maybe there should be just a little bit of something that you hold back. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? And then the reason I'm really complaining is basically I've got a fucking mental image of Ozzy humping these various types of women that she's reeled off, and I'm stuck with that mental image for the rest of the fucking day. And now you are too. So fuck you. Yeah, now we're all doing. Yeah, so just really, I mean, I try and be as honest. I am honest with you guys and all the rest of it, but You get Talking Bollocks Howard, and Acid Rain fans get H Howard. I am not the person that I'm not like this all the time. Basically, is what I'm saying. So this is me performing. I perform the podcast, and then it's me being Larry and out there and all the rest of it. But there's there's a big part of me that only my close friends know, or my friends know, that's just the way it is. As a friend of mine said recently, they can't listen to the podcast because it to them it's not the person they know, and that's totally understandable. This is a part of me, without a doubt. This is a big part of me. This is it's the mouth part of me, obviously. And don't get me wrong, I mean everything I fucking say on here. I'm just saying that unlike Sharon, I can separate the performance in the public from the private. Yeah, right, okay. I am comparing my level of achievement with that of Sharon Osbourne. What a fucking cock. So what else has been going on? Hot on the heels of the Galactic Cowboys reforming the new Living Colour album. And the other band that I mentioned, who I can't even remember who they were, but reforming for a one-off show at a Scottish festival in the Highlands, I think, is Heavy Pettin. Oh yeah, Pettin, not with a G on the end. Hey, Heavy Pettin from the 80s. That bang average, totally radio rock band are getting back together, and they're playing in Scotland with the Choir Boys and Rock Goddess. So what can I say? Get your tickets now before it sells out. So there's a new Mastodon EP out as well, that Revolver magazine relaunched with the EP with Mastodon on the cover, and they put it out saying on the cover of Revolver with Mastodon, available with 4 different covers, each featuring a member of Mastodon. When all 4 covers are placed together side by side, a single image of the full band can be seen. No shit! I can cut 4 pictures of Mastodon out of a fucking magazine and paste them next and stick them on a piece of cardboard next to each other, and that's a picture of the fucking band. No shit, you mean 4 separate pictures of the 4 individual members, when you put those together, creates one picture of the band. Wow. Can you imagine? They've clearly not aware of the invention of Photoshop. That's going to freak these guys the fuck out. It really is. It just seemed like stating the obvious. Oh, and it had to happen, didn't it? You heard it here first. I predicted it. I didn't predict this particular one, though. The Frank Zappa hologram tour is coming in 2018. That's right, you heard it. Possibly one of the most crowd interactive performers of our time. I mean, great with an audience, wonderful with an audience. How the fuck do you replace that with a hologram? I just think it's an absolute disgrace. I really do. I know if all of the various estates and relatives, they've all got to sign off on it. So they're obviously, happening for that to happen. They're obviously happy for that to happen. But my opinion, I just think it's just pissing on a legacy. Now, some would say no, it's getting the legacy to people who unfortunately weren't around to be able to see him. Well, here's a concept to get your head around. You missed out. I mean, I didn't get to see the Beatles. Wasn't particularly bothered by it, but I didn't get to see the Beatles. And I'm not going to now. There is stuff that again, this plays into the kind of like entitled fucking cunty fucking society that we live in, and it's like, well, I never got a chance to see Frank Zappa live, so you better fucking create a hologram so I can fucking experience it. Do you know what I mean? It's just you missed out. You missed fucking out. If you didn't get to see Dio, you missed out. These are, isn't that the rules of life? You can't fucking, right, I'm going to go to a job interview. Oh, I didn't get it. Right, well, I want a fucking hologram of the job that I didn't get then. Because I should have everything. I am entitled to everything. I want that job. I want to see Frank Zappa perform live. I want to see Dio perform live. Fuck it. Dig up anyone you can. I want to see them live. Oh, yeah. Also, I applied for some film work on the forthcoming Star Wars franchise. I didn't get it. Right, I want a hologram of me being in Star Wars. Just, when does it fucking end? It's just fucking ridiculous. Honestly, it just it gets my dander up. It really does. Right, that's enough of me waffling. Let's get on with the interview. This was I'm recording this on Monday. So this was only a couple of days ago, down at the Electric Ballroom. It was with Xiii of Life of Agony. I told him to say hi for me from to Mina, especially as, anyway, fucking listen to the Mina interview, that'll make sense. So this is with Joey. This is actually outside, round the back of the Electric Ballroom, because this backstage area is so small. Everybody else was doing interviews. So anyway, Joey agreed to come out. It was supposed to be 15 minutes. It ended up being 45 minutes. Me and that dude could have carried on for, all night. It was just, well, you're going to hear. What a great guy. This is me and Joey Z.
Minutes because of the first band.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought the best thing to do is come out here so you can hear me.
Yeah.
Or we can hear each other actually.
This is like we're going to negotiate some sort of parlay or two street guys sitting down. Yeah.
Listen, we need to talk.
Yeah,
Kaz, you gotta excuse us. We need to talk.
You just want to come out back and have a chat.
You want to have a chat?
Yeah.
Stand over there.
I've got about like 15, 20 on it.
Yeah, 20 minutes is good.
Cool, man.
What's up? How you doing, Howard?
Yeah, I'm well, man. I'm well.
Good. Me too.
So, long story short, I sing in a UK thrash band called Acid Rain. We were around back in the day, split up, came back. Yourselves.
Yeah, I know that very well. Myself. I've been doing stand-up comedy for 20 years. Really?
In between as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Good for you.
So
that's
thank
very
you very
cool.
much. Well, it's kind of kept the perform. I would still wanted to perform, but I was kind of done with music. Yeah. So that gives you an idea of where this is coming from. So the podcast is called Talking Bollocks.
Okay.
That's basically what I do.
Well, this is perfect environment. You can talk about where we are right
absolutely.
now. To start off.
Yeah, if you listeners, we're sat next to some scaffolding outside the Electric Ballroom.
Yeah.
It's the least salubrious place I've done an interview on.
It's about to get brutally loud inside with Blood Runs Deep.
Yes.
So we're taking the easy way out. Yeah, and look, I appreciate you, your willingness to do this in such. Well, in the UK as well, late September. We're lucky we can even be outside.
That's what I'm saying. I said to Kaz, it might not be a bad idea. I said to the tour manager, for all of you who don't know who Kaz is, it might not be a bad to do it outside. It's a nice night out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it won't be as loud as the venue in a few minutes.
Yeah, and funnily enough, you just alluded slightly to, I know what that's like. Yeah. It's been stop start, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Life of Agony. It's been a roller coaster ride our whole career. I wouldn't trade it in for anything though. At the same time, Howard. It's like
to end up here.
Yeah, to end up right where you are. And I'm in a very comfortable, happy place. I got a beautiful family at home. I finally, after 28 years of doing this professionally, I've found the balance between family and touring. Somehow. So yes, where I've landed is a very good place. And I'm happy in both worlds. I'm happy doing this out here, and when I get home, I'm just as happy, if not happier, to be with my family. And it's great, man. It really is.
Do you ever find yourself in a position where you're on the road and you're missing your family more than you're enjoying being on the road? Or you're with your family and you miss being on the road?
Yes.
Because that's fine. Yes. You're allowed to.
Oh, you're allowed to. Absolutely. Yeah. And my wife knows. She could tell. She could tell when I'm getting that itch to go perform. You had said it yourself. You get that burning desire to perform, and it's part of me. It's part of you. It's part of what we do as people. And when you don't do it for many months, or you have downtime, it's almost like you get this yearning to do it, and it's this calling. It's like a calling.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the best way I could describe it. And vice versa, when you're outside, when you're out on the road and you're away from home, yes, sometimes if there's like a shite day and things aren't going so great, and let's say just nonsense is going on or things aren't going well, you think of home right away. You want to be there. I want to be there with my 2 little girls and my wife, and so there's that balance that exists, and I just feel like I finally found a good spot to be in. And that's where that balance exists.
And that is a place where there's no pain, maybe.
Yeah, hey, that's funny. It pertains to the record. Years ago as kids, we were very crazy. Not over the top, but we were a lot more wild as people, not mature. So there was an unbalance between home life and touring. Touring was almost like a make-believe world, like a fantasy land. Yeah. And we treated it that way to some extent. We took advantages of some parts of it. But now I feel like I appreciate this so much that there's no more taking advantage of this. It is what it is, and it's very important in our lives and in my life.
Yeah, I mean, because are you still ready? Presumably, you've got somebody running the studio back at home.
Well, I actually don't. This year, the studio's totally awesome and it's going well, but I run it myself, because the old saying is, you can't, unless you do it yourself, it won't get done right. And my studio is now in my home, although I do work out of multiple and many studios everywhere. I mean, I've worked in Holland, Canada, in California, New York. But I have my own studio for local and regional bands.
Right.
I rebuilt after we got hit with the Hurricane Sandy in 2012. Shit. I lost my Method of Groove studio in Brooklyn.
Oh, no.
But I have a brand new facility. It's actually in my home. So that's kind of special. Some of the fans or let's say bands that are Life of Agony fans, and they come record with me, it's kind of cool, because they're like, oh, well, we're going to record in your house. And
yeah, absolutely.
It's really fun, and they get a kick out. I'm very respectful, of course. All the bands never had a problem. We hang out in my yard, in between sessions.
So what do you use as a drum booth when you're playing at home?
That's the thing. I have multiple studios. I have this one drum room I use. As you know, it's easy now with a hard drive. You bring that hard drive anywhere, and you have yourself. We have a proper studio out in Port Jeff, New York, that is an amazing studio. It's called Voodoo Studios, and I specifically use that drum room in that studio because he has a full set of Neve pre's, old school Neve pre's, with every old school fucking mic, RCAs, Neumann's in that studio, and he has a gigantic drum room that sounds fantastic, loaded with snare drums. He has about 18 snare drums.
Awesome.
He has amazing setup there. Right. So I basically bring my clients, we do the drums there, and then we finish up guitars, bass, and vocals in my house. Very great, very, very good combination. The two studios sound great together, and I'm very happy with that.
Do you put vocals on last?
Yeah, usually, of course. But when I mix, I have some little tricks. Lately, I've been mixing backwards. I mix the vocals. Right. I get a rough mix of the music, but I start really layering and getting in heavily with the vocals first, making sure the vocals sound good on their own, almost musical. Well. I shouldn't say almost.
No, I get that.
I said the wrong word.
No, you're talking to the right.
Yeah.
My vocals are almost musical.
Well, I try to get them where if you just shut everything off, that the vocals have a unique and special thing about them.
Right, yeah.
Even without the instruments and all the music behind it. So I've been approaching mixing a little different. It's really working out really great. I've heard a few interviews and I read a lot about producers and mixers, and a couple of them said I mix backwards, and I tried it, and you get great results. So
do you use that? Do you use the kind of the rule, if you like, of the vocals should be just above the snare drum?
No, I don't use any rule. I'll tell you what, I throw rules out the window when it comes to recording and mixing, because every band is different, and every song calls for a different type of mix and feel and delays and all kinds and levels. Some songs feel better when the vocals pushed inside the instruments a little more. It comes across heavier, especially for heavy bands. So it really depends on the artist and the song.
Yeah, and it depends on the vocals as well.
Yes.
If you know, let's face it, you've got strong vocalists, you've got weak vocalists, and it's not that like weak is a thing. It's just that their voice is a little bit more fragile, and you've got to find the place in the mix for that.
Yes, and I feel you got to cater to what the strong points of the song or the part is. You really got to. I like using a lot of automation in songs. It gives a lot of dynamic feel. Like, you know, maybe the vocals come, you know, a little kind of tucked in the verse, but then pop more in the chorus. So maybe the riff is really cool, the verse riff, and you push it into people's faces a little more. You know, like stuff like that. Or the drummer has a cool bridge part, and the fucking bridge, you know, he has a cool, let's say, tom part or whatever going on the bridge. You push the drums up in the face with the vocals. So I really try to mix for the part, and I've read that a lot. And I think being open and reading and learning from people who have been doing it for a long time, and people who you could tell have a lot of knowledge, and you listen to their stuff and it sounds really excellent. I've been trying to do more of being more of a sponge instead of just knowing my way. And there you go. That's why I didn't want to be inside.
There it is.
So anyway, that's pretty much where I'm at with recording, and I'm very happy because it keeps it interesting, it keeps it creative, and it doesn't get stale.
And it keeps you working with music. You're just working with music constantly. And that is just
outside of touring, I'm just home doing recordings. That's all I do, is either touring or recording people. That's what I do.
And speaking of which, cliche, how's the tour going?
Awesome. No, hey, listen, I love to talk about it. That's why we're here. Tour's great. Tonight's the last night in London. We're at the Electric Ballroom right now. For all you people, I'm sure you know. It was a great tour. You know, again, we'd like to put it out there that what people got to understand is you got to go and pick up the record for your artists, the people, the bands that you want to see, because what the industry does is they look at numbers. If the people aren't buying your record, you're not going to get asked to come back. And I think that's what the fans and everyone has to realize, is it's not just the streaming a song, listening on YouTube. You got to support your artist. And I'm not saying we're going to make money off of it. It's just the fact of showing the label that there's interest in the band. So I think, you know, we try to get the word out there that it's important to support the band. And what we noticed on this tour is that we had a very, very strong UK support when it came to people buying the record. When we asked the crowds, you pick up the record, we got great cheers and a lot of hands in the air. And we noticed it because when we would play a new song, you could tell everyone knew the words and was singing along. So that means they're listening and they got the record. So
look, being in a band myself, this podcast is all about support your artists. You know, if for whatever reason you're not picking up the record, pick up a shirt. You know, spend money. Basically, you know, whatever you got, whatever you can afford. If you spend it on what's most important to you. You know, if it's more important you have the album and you're not going to be able to go see the band live, then do that. You know?
We get asked a lot. We're out here on we did a short run, as you know. It's only a week and a half, and the way we do runs like this is we scale way down. We, as a band, we're grown men, or one lady and 3 grown guys, and we very hands-on with the gear. And we have fans and Life of Agony, you know, the people in the audience. We're setting up, and then afterwards we're taking stuff apart and cables and amps, and they're like, "Why are you doing your own stuff?" A band like Life of Agony, you know, sold out venues, packing up their own gear. Like, we get questioned, we get asked, and the answer is very simple. Yeah, we're not afraid to. We've done the touring with 12-person crew and spending the money on buses and trucks, and we've done all those tours years and years and years. And what happens is you go home and you realize you can't afford to pay your bills. So we're done with that, trying to be this, you know, for now at least, until things change a little bit in the industry. We're trying to be humble and true to our families, and work as hard as we can out here and still put on a great show. And be able to come home with a few bucks in our pocket.
Well, that's kind of important as well, because it's kind of, I mean, you know, you're taking, you know, a week, 2 weeks here and there out of your lives, and your family miss you and all the rest of it. Now, you come home with nothing or in debt, and it's kind of like, well, how long am I going to support this teenage fantasy of yours for? You know?
And how long can you do it? You can't. There will be no more longevity to if you keep doing that. It's going to go away, which is you can't.
Well, the thing is, as well, is people will say, yeah, but surely you do it just for the love. And it's like, yeah, but after a while, you fall out of love.
Well,
you know,
we haven't fallen out of love with it. It's just they go hand in hand almost. We love doing it, but at the same time, you do need to bring home money to pay your bills. So it goes hand in hand almost. We haven't fallen out of love with it, because I think if we didn't love it, we wouldn't do it.
Oh no, what I mean is if there's no if you're losing money all the time,
right,
and people are saying, but you should be doing it for the love, and it's like, yeah, but that just gets eaten away at, you know, over a period of time.
If you're having hard times at home,
absolutely.
And so, long story short, I mean, bottom line is we're out here working hard, and we're enjoying what we do. And you know, we're doing it the way old school punk rock and you know, people used to do it years and years and years ago, with very little help. We have a couple of guys, and that's it, you know. And we're out here, and we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna go home and be able to pay our bills. Basically, that's what it boils down to right now.
Just coming to the UK, is that's quite. I mean, you know, that's quite a commitment. Normally, it's Europe and the UK. And
right. Well, we figured that we haven't been here in a year and a half, and last time we were here, we only did, I think it was 3 gigs. And we said, you know what? Why don't we try to hit some of the smaller UK towns like Norwich?
I was going to say like London,
like Norwich,
Norwich, yes,
Norwich, and you know, and towns like that. We went to Newcastle, and you know, we haven't been to Newcastle. I don't know if we ever played Newcastle, and I think we've never played Norwich. I know that.
What was Newcastle like?
Newcastle was good. You know, again, like, you know, the crowds, how would you say, we're not playing these tremendous venues with 2,000 people in them in these places, but we're playing in front of 200, 300, 400 people.
It's a good pull.
And it's good. You know, you have people in front of you that really want to see the band and really have missed the band, and you could tell. You could tell the energy. Even when there's just that many people in front of you and they're giving it their all, you could tell it's so right that you came and played.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, you're one of those bands that's got such a legacy that there is going to be a lot of people coming never seen you before.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hearts.
And it's like, you know,
and it's great. You got Mina now, and Mina's just having a great time. My cousin.
That must make such a difference.
It is a completely different band.
It
is, in such a good way, in such a peaceful, happy way.
I
remember the days when Mina was Keith, and you know, Keith did not want to
be there.
Just not want to be there. So now it's just so cool and special that Mina is up there just giving it her all every night, totally free, having fun with the crowd, talking to them, having conversations between songs with individuals.
Which is just so not
it's just a 180. It's just a 180, you know, from what it was. And it's just so nice to see. We have a lot of laughs, a lot of good times. And I just hope we can get some longevity out of it, and we don't we don't have to take another break or anything like that. It's hard, you know.
Well, hopefully. I mean, hopefully
we could just keep the ball rolling. It's hard for bands these days, unless you're really like, Slipknot level or Metallica. It's hard to keep. It's hard to keep it going.
Unless you're that level, it's hard to get booked on any other night than a Friday or a Saturday. You know, it's like there's parts of Europe where it's like we're not interested in shows on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
60 people in front of you on a Monday. You know, it's hard.
And it's the same in comedy as well. It's it's getting people out of the houses. That's getting them out of their fucking houses.
Get them away from the computers.
Get them off the computer. Get them off the streaming, off the TV. Get them away from their phones.
Yeah. Get
them into a venue. And it is getting harder and harder. But what you do find is, like you're saying about the Slipknots and things like that, is that people seem to be entering this kind of, I'll go to an arena show maybe once or twice a year.
Right.
Whereas they could be going to 10 club shows.
Right.
But it's like,
people aren't bothering anymore. It's like almost like, I don't know, it's getting really weird, but thank God we have that cult following that comes out and sees the band. Whether it's on a Monday, whether it's on a Thursday, we have people in front of us. We're very happy. We've done some very successful runs in Europe, European, in Germany and Austria and stuff.
They love you out there, don't they?
Oh my God,
absolutely
the places are packed. We got 1,000 people in front of us on a Tuesday night. You know, it's like, it's awesome, you know?
Yeah, and that'd be Belgium then.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do in Belgium.
No offense. No, it's true. It's true. It's Belgium and Austria and all these places. We get these big shows on like Thursday night.
But I think it's just my COD philosophy. But I think that Life of Agony has always had one foot in the NYHC camp, but one foot in the not NYHC camp. Like that, you always sang about right from day one, right from River Runs Red. What separated you was you always sang about emotions.
Yes.
You sang about... Now, normally, sometimes in a band's career, like, it takes years before they mature into that.
To get there.
Yeah, and it's like always songs about them and people, and it's all outwards.
Yeah.
But Life of Agony, right from the word go, was looking
introvert,
in. Yeah, and I just think that's what separates you. That's what's given you the length of, of longevity. And also, I think that's why there's so much goodwill out there.
Yeah. And it's the connection because of that. People say, wow, they understand what I feel. Yeah. It's almost like I say this all the time. We've held on to our audience because, in a way, they know us through the lyrics and music.
Yeah.
They know who we are as people.
Yeah.
We've had people come up to us crying. Yeah. You saved my life. It just happened again on this run. Guy was crying, kissing my hand. Wouldn't stop kissing. A man, grown man, crying. You saved my life. Kissing my hand, hugging, kissing Sal's hand, kissing Alan. It's just, it connects with people.
Yeah.
And they know that we understand.
Yeah.
And that's part of a place where there's no more pain. Where it comes from, it's like, come join us because we do know your struggles. We're creating this room where you're safe with us, and that's kind of like the premise of the album and where the title comes from.
Well, also I think from that point of view, when you came out, nobody was really doing what you were doing. Still, no one really does what you do.
Yeah.
And I think when you've had that kind of connection with people for so long, and especially there'll have been kids in their teens that River Runs Red really struck home with and were really struggling with their lives, and older fans as well.
Yeah.
And the years may pass, but that will always prevail.
Doesn't change.
Exactly.
That will be there. Yeah. That will always be there. And it's funny you say that because I just we did a show over in Jersey about a few months ago, and there was these two young kids. Never met them before. Two young teenagers, two boys, two young guys, probably about 17, 18 years old, going nuts in the front of the barricade while we played. Afterwards, I'm packing my stuff up, and I see them. They're waving their tickets. Hey, they didn't know my name. Hey, could you sign this for us? I walked over. I said, sure. Started talking. We just heard your band on the radio. It was on this station called Liquid Metal in America. Right? We heard your song and we bought your record. These two young kids. So it's so cool to see that these two young guys were able to connect to Life of Agony You know, even I'm 45, I'll be 46 this year. These 17 and 18-year-old kids were so hooked when they heard the song and they loved the lyrics and they were like, "You fucking awesome album, man. We're gonna buy every one of your records." And they were so excited, and it was such a good feeling because you don't get that all the time.
No.
And I was like, tell your friends, you know, share the music with your friends. I told them, I said, thank you. I said, I'm Joey. I introduced myself. And they were like, cool, man. Yeah, nice to meet you. You did a great job, whatever they said. And it was just special. That was a special moment, and I'll never forget that because two young guys like that, two young metalheads that loved it and heard a song and went out and bought the record, that's what it used to be like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was so happy that it happened again.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, and it happens all too rarely these days.
Yeah.
You know.
So it was just confirmation that we're still doing a good job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, a good job. I think you're doing an even better job.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, because
we're trying hard.
Well, yeah, but as you said, you know, you have this force of positivity, this force for good in the band now.
Yes, and that's another thing. I like to use that. I almost feel like we're trying hard, but we're not forcing anything.
Yeah,
we haven't forced one stitch of the music on the record.
Yeah,
everything just happened. We don't force our shows.
Yeah.
We go with the current of the audience. Whatever the current is, we're there. Whatever the current is flowing, years ago maybe we forced a little too much. Now we're very, very about the moment. What's happening right now, whether it's a conversation with Mina in person in the audience, or just really just having a naturally good time with it.
Yeah.
And I think that is making us even better than we ever have been.
Well, I think from when you were speaking now, I was thinking that in comedy you call it playing the room.
Yeah,
which is
there you go.
You play the fucking room. You know, if there's 200 people there and you've just done a show in front of 2,000, don't be doing it like you've got to play the room.
Thank you. That's what it is.
Room.
Years ago, we would get a little disappointed if there wasn't as many people at the shows one night, and you could tell in the band everyone would get like. But now it's completely different.
Yes,
because we're feeding good energy off each other and good energy off the room. And I think that has done so much for the band.
Yeah.
So much for our own selves and our everyday.
Yeah, because you're playing the gig. You're not playing the gig you thought it was going to be. Exactly. Or you're not playing the gig you wished it was.
You wished it was.
Yeah.
You're being very true to what it is. And that and even the record and even writing music. We did the same thing, Howard. Right. Very true to how we were feeling, what was coming out of us, what we were sharing. It wasn't forced to just. We were just very true to it, and I think that says something about life in general.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I mean, it's well, you know, you can only create art. True art, and it comes from honesty. You know, and if it's not, then it's manufactured and it's not art.
And you feel it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, I want to go back a good few years. I don't know how long you were doing it for, but I think it was around 2010. You helped Pete Steele dig up Carnivore.
I was just thinking of him today.
Oh, man.
So funny because I remember playing London with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, love that guy, man.
Carnivore was like just...
one of my favorite bands growing up.
Yeah, one of mine as well.
One of my biggest influences on music, on riffs.
I remember hearing World War III, Tommy Vance played it on the radio, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? Oh, then guitarist Gaz was like, check this out. I was like, what the fuck? So got the first album, got the second album, and I was like, wow, and then it just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
And you kind of helped him sort of
bring it
get back on its feet.
I'll tell you a quick story about how it happened when I got the call. I just had opened Method of Groove Studio.
Right,
I just opened the studio.
Legendary Method of Groove Studio.
It was 2006. Right. We're going back. This is when this happened, by the way.
Okay.
This is when it started, this whole thing, Carnivore again. I was in the studio. It was late at night. I just had a few bands rehearse there, not even record, because when I first opened the doors, I also had rehearsals, so people were coming in the door and checking out the studio, the room, the live room. Yeah. So I had some rehearsals going on. I remember locking the doors up one night, and I had bands all night, and I had a headache. And I was kind of like bummed because Life of Agony wasn't playing anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in my control room chair, kind of with my head down, upset.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I just had opened the studio. It was kind of odd. And I'm sitting there at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning, contemplating my future.
Yeah.
So fucking weird. This is a true story. The phone rings behind me. The studio phone. The new phone number.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? I thought maybe my wife checking on me, whatever. So I pick up the phone. Hello? Hey, what's up, you fucking mountain goat? Someone says that, right? I was like, Peter Steele always called me mountain goat because of my goatee.
Yeah.
Oh, you used to pull this guy, you mountain goat. And I go, Peter? He goes, yeah, who the fuck you think it is? Who else calls you a mountain goat? He goes to me. I go, what the fuck? I haven't heard from him maybe 3 years at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, dude? What's going on? What are you calling this dude? I'm like, how'd you get this number? It's fucking online. What are you talking about? You put it there. He's like, you know how he talks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's up? Cool, man. What's up? He goes, well, I have a proposition for you. He goes, how would you like to? He goes, I'm putting Carnivore together, and you're my first choice for guitar. Would you do it? And I said, abso-motherfucking-lutely, brother.
Awesome.
And I started crying. I like tears because I was so happy that he asked me. And I told him I have tears, brother. He was like, oh, come on. He goes, meet me at my house in a few days, whatever.
Yeah.
And I literally hung up the phone and I screamed out loud. I yelled, yeah! That I was going to get to play Carnivore songs.
Yeah.
With Peter on stage.
Yeah, fucking hell.
And I fucking screamed out loud by myself. True story. I hung up the phone and screamed, yeah, fuck! And I was just so happy, and it was great, man. I met him at his house that first day. It was a few days later. And we talked, and it was fucking awesome. We started rehearsing right away, maybe within 2 weeks.
How many shows do you play?
Well, a bunch. We actually did a full European tour.
Is that the one where you did some festivals?
Yeah, we did Whackin'.
Yes.
The first show, show.
It wasn't it?
Whackin'.
Yeah.
But we did one warm-up show in New York City called a place called Fontana's. Very small underground club. Like literally, the ceiling was right above you. Peter was almost hitting his head on the ceiling. Fontana's very small, but it was packed. Carnivore, was back.
Yeah.
And it was a great show. Bobby Hamble from Biohazard showed up. It was a great show, and then we literally 2 days later we were flying to Europe for Whackin'. So it was one show and then Whackin'.
That's Pete all over.
Yeah, and then from there we did many shows. We did a couple of New York shows, BB King's. We did L'Amour that reopened in Brooklyn at Staten Island. And then we did some shows in Connecticut. When we got back from the Whackin', then they booked a European full tour. We went to Italy, we were all over Germany, and that was the first time Carnivore was ever in Germany.
Right, yeah.
So we were doing those crazy, like Jesus Hitler. But people didn't realize that Peter was just talking fantasy talk.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, yeah. I mean, it's right there in the lyrics.
Yeah, and that's how he always created it, and it was very brilliant, actually, and ingenious the way he had always play on words and the way he took scenarios and twisted them up, and he was a very creative person. But anyway, we did great tours with Peter, and then I did great runs with Peter, and we did great stuff. So.
And what happened? Do you remember how it sort of kind of came to a? Well,
Typo had to do a record, so he had to take some time off for Carnivore, and then the plan was to start writing a record for Carnivore together. And he wanted to do a record, so he was like, as soon as I'm finished with the Type O album and the touring, I want to jump back into Carnivore and blah blah blah. But unfortunately, within that period is when he passed. And it's funny, we did a live recording we were going to put out, and we did it at Method of Groove Studio. Right. Like a what's that album called? Origin of the Feces, Type O.
Oh, right,
Then they did that with the live.
Yeah.
We would do the same thing for Carnivore. We recorded it at my studio. I have the recording.
Wow.
But a lot of people asking me about this recording because they heard about it. Problem is that I will not release it. It's just for me because Peter wasn't happy with the way the vocals turned out.
Right.
And he wanted to do them over, he told me.
Right.
And he passed before we could do the vocals over. So I would never...
you can't have
I would never... And although it's okay, it sounds okay, he just wasn't 100% happy. I would never sell or put something out that my friend was not 100% about.
Yeah, no,
and now he
yeah.
can't be here to back himself up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That recording will be with me, and it's only going to be with me for the rest of my life.
There is loads of people listening thinking,
I know, and I'm going to tell, and I'm sorry, and many people have asked me, and some people are upset and mad. But you know what? I'm going to stay true to my fucking friend that wasn't happy with his vocals. No matter how much money someone offers me, I've had people offer money for it. And you know what? That's not what it's about.
No.
Peter would not be fucking happy with me if I let that go.
Yeah.
In the state that it's in.
Yeah.
That's the bottom fucking line.
Yeah.
So it stays with me. It's for my enjoyment only. Once in a blue moon to turn it on and listen to the recording. I mixed it a little bit. I messed with it. Just for me. And that's it. It's my little trophy that I'm going to keep at home.
So, if I brought Acid Rain over to your studio and we got to record with you, would you play it for
Of course
us?
I would play it.
Right, okay,
I would play it for somebody. I just would have to confiscate all your devices first.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I actually haven't played it for many people, and because not many people know about it, but a few do, and I played it for maybe 2 or 3 people in my life. So, and that's for all the way from 2008. I want to say we tried that.
Right.
So, or maybe a little later, 2009. We did that recording in my studio. But you know, again, it's not for the. Again, I would never do that, and it wouldn't be right. It would be unloyal to my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
To sell something that he wasn't 100%.
Or be a betrayal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like not cool. It's just not cool.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
You know, unfortunately, the vocals didn't come out the way we intended them to. It wasn't. It was done live. So
well, exactly. And what name of vocalist out there who's going to do one take of all of their songs and go, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, exactly. So he wanted to touch a lot of it up and fix some parts up and make it better. Yeah. And I totally understandable. So, but it just never happened because he passed, and it was soon after that.
Never mind.
So
never mind.
Anyway,
I'm sure he'd be proud of you now.
Yes.
Back on the road and all.
Yeah, he is.
Everybody back together, and
I feel him, and sometimes I try to channel his energy. It's true. Even during the recording for A Place Where There's No More Pain, there was a song called "Bag of Bones" on the album.
Yes,
and I specifically channeled that energy for the recording of the guitars for that song. Channel Peter's energy, and if you listen to that song again, listen to the way I played the guitars on it. It's very Carnivore Typo-esque. Even the sound that Matt Brown and I went for specifically was that sound because I wanted to channel Peter for the recording of the guitars, at least for that song.
He seems to have had such an influence on everybody that
he made me a better player. He made me a better singer. I have another band called Zaire's War that I'm going to be working up a record soon. I have a lot of music that I'd like to get out. I sing and play.
Right.
And Peter gave me a lot of confidence with that. He made me sing a lot in Carnivore. He actually made me take lead parts in the songs live. A lot. He'd be like, I want you to do that part. He liked my heavy voice. Right. He liked the heaviness of it. So, he gave, I don't know, I've learned a lot from him when I played with him those years. 3-4 years we played together, so.
And came along just at the right time for you as well.
It was perfect with the whole thing and what I was going through in LOA.
Well, so that would have been you were just coming off. Yeah, you were coming off the Broken Valley.
We weren't in a good way because of how that album went and how Epic kind of dumped it down the tubes, and the touring cycle was like shite, and we just weren't in a good space, the band, and I was home and I had to do something, and I opened the studio and it was a brand new venture and I didn't know what was going to happen, and it was confusing. And then he gives me a call and it was like magic. It was like my life was picked back up in minutes.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. It was an amazing moment. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
And then you guys came back together in sort of around 2010.
8, 9, just to get together and play some more. It was after, and that was pretty much just right before Peter passed, when he did Typo. Yeah. When he was doing Typo again, that's when Life of Agony picked up and started playing some gigs again. Yeah. And then we took another break in 2011, so the band's been up and down, on and off.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. Many times.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, you often hear that, being in a band, it's like, it's like being in a marriage, and it's like, it's not. It's like being in 4 separate marriages at the same time, and they all require as much work as each other.
That's right.
And it changes as well. Everything can be rosy over here, and then
suddenly it's this is this.
Because it's like, it's hard to explain to people, but it's like people change all the time. You know, we're all taking on new information. We're changing as people, and so you can all be, you know, getting along well, and then that changes because
then
we're
pieces,
all
right. Then suddenly maybe two.
It's like if you move a jigsaw around, you know, it's kind of like it stays together, but there's like little kinks in it. And,
it's true, and that's okay, you know, and that's okay as long as you're mature about it, and you know.
Well, it's getting older helps, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. You don't sweat the small stuff. At least that's how it's saying. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen. Sometimes people, some days are moody. It's okay, you know. Like years ago, that would bother. You know, you're a kid. You know, you get all fucking. How would you say, uptight with each other?
Yeah.
But nowadays, if someone's just not in a good way, it's nothing personal. It's just they're just not having the greatest day. It might be something at home, or who knows.
But when you're young and you're in a good mood and someone's in a bad mood, it's like, he's fucking with my vibe.
Right.
When you're a bit older, it's like, oh, he's not feeling too good. That's a shame.
That's a shame, right?
You know,
and that's where we're at.
Empathize with it.
As older guys.
In your mood.
As older guys, that's where we're at now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just like, well, you know, we're not the most important people in the world anymore, are we?
Exactly. That's the thing, you know. It's not all about me anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Those years were fine.
Yeah, those years were okay. It was about me.
That's like, I thought I was a pretty nice guy back then.
Yeah.
Looking back.
Oh, exactly. It's so funny. We're like, I look back on my I see videos or interviews with me, you know, and I almost like have to cringe a little bit. I'm like, how did anybody even like me? You know, I'm like, I was so annoying, man. Like, exactly. Now I'm like, I wish I could do it all over and be this guy, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I say to everybody, you know, I'm enjoying it more the second time round than I did the first, you know? Because the first, it was all just like, oh, you know,
a lot in your head.
So important. Yes.
And a lot in your head. And now that's the thing about getting older. You realize you don't have to keep everything in your head. You can compartmentalize some of the stuff that used to bother you and put it away and move on. You know, even that goes like that with people, with things that you maybe have gone through. You could kind of like move on from them and, you know, just leave them behind. And as you get older, as you know, you start you start kind of being very choosy about who you spend your time with, because there's not much time. So you start becoming more choosy about, you know, hey, listen, if this person just constantly fucking annoys me or it's not happening, I'm not going to spend much more time with this person anymore. I'm actually going to move on. So I think as you get older and mature, you start learning how to do that a lot better, in a nice way, where you're not insulting anybody or.
Well, no, you just got to focus on.
Try to focus on the good stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I can see we've got some hanging around here. So right, look. Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really enjoyed our chat out back here.
Thank you.
It's just starting to get a little bit cold now.
Yeah, that's all right.
We could probably carry on doing this until it was dark.
Are you kidding me? But thank you to all the, you know, everyone listening, and thanks to all the LOA fans out there, and everyone that supported the band all the years. I always like to say thank you.
Well, it's been, when I said earlier about the massive amount of goodwill that there is towards the band, and I spoke to Mina actually just as the album was coming out, you know, saying there's this tidal wave of you know of good feelings and of goodwill, but that needs to turn into people turning up to shows and people buying the record.
And that's what we're trying to do.
You know,
got to keep going.
Absolutely.
Got to keep it going.
Cool.
All
right, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And there you go. How cool is Joey? What a top man. What an absolutely top bloke. We had a really good chat, as you heard. And yeah, it was and all that carnivore stuff. For those of you out there, I know there's a few out of you, Dave Ingram for sure. You'll have been loving that, all the background and stuff that we had no idea was going on, and that there's a live album that no one's ever going to hear unless I get my ass round to Joey's. So yeah, that was really cool. Really enjoyed it. Again, thanks to Andy Turner. He's sorted me out so many interviews. So many of these interviews that you hear are sorted out by him. So big shout out to Andy. Thank you very much, Andy. And now a Talking Bollocks exclusive. This has not been announced yet, but I am. I'm not going to be doing Talking Bollocks live. I've been moaning about that for quite a while. But I am doing an evening with H. And basically, this is it's 90-minute show, 2 45-minute halves with a sort of 20-minute interval. It's a spoken word show where I'm going to be basically talking about all the wild and wacky adventures that I've had over the years in the band back in the day with, just about every thrash legend you can fucking mention. Including Cliff Burton. Wow. So yeah, it's a spoken word show. There'll be some laughs, there'll be some crazy stories, there'll be and there's also a Q&A part where you can, funnily enough, ask me questions and I'll answer them. So I'll be talking about the music business in general, what it's like to be in a band now, but also all of the fun stuff from back in the day and everything else. So if you could make it. The very first of these shows is December the 15th. That is Friday, December the 15th at the Sanctuary Rock Bar in Burnley. So if you can make it, it'd be lovely to see you. If you can't, but friends who live there, tell them to come along. It's not announced yet. Tickets aren't available yet, so I can't give you that information. But I will. I'll be plugging it like a motherfucker. Don't you worry about that. But if you want to come along, it'd be really cool to see you. Any Talking Bollocks questions would be gratefully received. And any questions, frankly. Look, anyone turning up will be a fucking start. All right, that's the main concern. Getting people out of their houses, away from their TVs and away from their computers long enough so I can jibber jabber in their ear for 90 minutes. But if you want to come along, please do. If you know people in the area, please let them know. What else has been going on? Oh yes, along with the Galactic Cowboys, the new Living Colour album. That's right, the album we've all been waiting for. I mean, you've seen the online polls, you have seen the drama that has been created. People have been absolutely crying out for this. Yes, you've guessed it. Oh yeah, the one, the only, the heavy metal Elton John himself, Andrew WK, is bringing out a new album for the first time in a decade. Woohoo! Hey, isn't that what we all wanted? What are you saying? No one asked for a new. Well, someone must, or maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, we are getting. Oh, an alarm has just come up on my phone saying Butcher Babes. And sorry, I did have Butcher Babes, which is pretty fucking cheesy. A Butcher Babes interview alarm just come up on my phone. So because I'm supposed to be interviewing him in 15 minutes time. Let's not go on about that, eh? Oh god, fucking hell! I just looked at my phone. I got a notification. Will your new album be out when you tour in December? No. Sorry, I'm actually doing this as live. It's not written yet. So there you go. Anyway, look, I know I always get pissy with people for asking about that, and I really shouldn't, because it's people want to know, and better that than no one is interested in you. No one ever asks you about a new album. So it's just I get asked so much. I don't know. It just winds me up. But that's my issue. That is not the issue. I can't expect everybody to be fucking mind readers. So what else has been going on? Oh yeah, and along with the new Andrew WK album, I have to say this, right? Some of you might like them, but for me, Gua are shit. Okay, absolute shit. Right, nearly as bad as Rob Zombie for that just fucking mid-pace dun 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 dun. Really, fuck off. And I don't give a shit that their live show is amazing and that they pretend to be aliens from another dimension and all. It's fucking shit. Strip it down. Just no thanks. No thanks Rob Zombie, who I've now dragged into it. No thanks, just no. Just fucking no. Horrible, horrible music. That's all I have to say about that. But it wouldn't be a Bollocast, would it? Wouldn't be a Bollocast without a mention for Gene Simmons. That's right, good old Gene. How's this for an offer? The new The Vault box set that's coming out. How long do you think it took them to come up with that title for a load of unreleased stuff and B-sides and stuff? The Vault. Apparently, it's had a load of titles over the years because this project's been coming for a long time. I just did my homework, okay? And after all of the also ran titles, what they've settled for, finally, some genius came up with The Vault. Really? Well done. Well, anyway, Gene has made a fantastic offer. I'm sure you'll all be doing this. Gene Simmons will deliver the Vault box set to your home for $50,000. I want him to be blowing me for that kind of money. Okay? I mean, really, the nerve. The fucking nerve. I mean, I took the piss out of Dave Mustaine having a scout jamboree in his garden and charging people a few grand a time. That looks positively self-aware compared with Gene's, yes, I'll tell you what. You pay me 50 grand, I'll come round, deliver this box set to your house. While you're there, I'll probably try and fuck your wife. Because apparently that's what he's like, as I've been told. And apparently that is real hair. It is just fucking weird. And he does look like a sort of melted waxwork these days. Fuck it, but whatever. You know what's coming? I would pay Gene 50 grand to not come round my house, to never perform again, and to just pack Kiss up. I'd pay serious money if we could go back in time and just erase them. No, actually, that's wrong. That's wrong. They've influenced lots of bands that I like. Rammstein and Anthrax, to name but two. And every American band I seem to interview love Kiss. I mean, even Brian Slagle liked Kiss, the head of a thrash label. We go back and listen to that episode. We don't have an argument, but I'm just like, no, the shit. But $50,000! I've got to say it again. Really? Fucking hell. I mean, as much as a dick as he is, some of the things he says do just fucking make me howl. And sometimes I think, do you know what? I think he's on a bit of a wind-up. I actually think he is just a bit of a wind-up merchant. And I think he says a lot of stuff just for clickbait. I mean, he is fucking clickbait heaven, that guy. Anyway, look, next up is a catch-up with Cancer Killer Dan. That's right, no longer is he Cancer Dan, he's Cancer Killer Dan. So, funnily enough, I'm not due to speak to him for another hour. So what I'm going to do is leave you guys here, and then I'm going to go and have a chat with him. And actually, no, look, here it comes. Here's me and Dan. I'm not going to be chatting to him for about another 1 hour and 10 minutes. But here is me and Dan chatting in the future, but not really, because it's here right now.
Hello.
Hello there.
Now then.
How's it doing, mate? How you going?
Not bad, mate. How are you doing?
I am very well, thank you very much. I am very well. Funnily enough, I'm recording the podcast at the moment, so I've had to pause it so we can do this chat.
Right.
So it's kind of it's kind of real time.
Really, it's like 24.
Yeah, basically, it's just like 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've bumped into a few people who've been asking after you, people who listen to the podcast and stuff, and
oh, really?
Yeah. You're a popular guy. That's why
people have got low standards these days, don't they?
No, mate, you're a popular guy. That's why I'm keeping you off the podcast. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
My fucking podcast. I'm not having anybody more popular than me.
He's hijacked.
Yeah, absolutely. And funnily enough, I always make notes for each episode, and the very first note I had on my phone was your Macmillan charity gig, and that's what made me think, fucking hell, why am I talking about it? I'd get you on to talk about it. So Cancer Killer Dan returns to the stage in awesome form. Tell us about it, man.
It was a really fucking good night, actually. It was a nightmare organising the thing. We had the band that we got all local acts, so we all got local bands and like groups and stuff to play. Apart from one who are our mates from Stoke-on-Trent, Balls Deep. And if anybody's listening, you should go and check those out. There's a plug for you lads. They had to pull out of the gig like a few weeks before it because the singer tore all the muscles in his stomach.
Oh, fuck.
And he's going to have surgery to repair him.
How the fuck does that happen?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a work thing or something. They said he didn't go into specifics, but
shit,
it sounded pretty fucking painful.
Yeah.
But we managed to. It took us ages to get a replacement. We asked everybody that we knew, and everyone was busy on that day. We picked a really shit date for it. Really, like organisational wise at least. So eventually we got the replacement, and people actually fucking turned up for it. Like, I was getting so many messages off people saying that they couldn't go to it because they had holidays or they had other stuff booked and all this stuff. So people actually turned up, and it was a really good turnout. And people, like, because we went on a little bit late as well. Like last year, people started sort of filtering out a little bit just around the time that we got on stage, but that people really fucking stuck around for us this time. So, like, we had a great turnout, as I say, and we did a raffle, got rid of a load of prizes on that, and eventually we raised, I think it was £1,110.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So that's a new guitar.
Yeah. I'm going to run with that. So,
oh, that's brilliant, mate. So how do you get that money to the charity then?
Somebody will come and pick it up. I've just emailed them tonight, basically asking how they want to get it, basically, because I set up a Just Giving account as well, for anybody who wanted to donate but couldn't go to the gig. So there's like £190 in that plus the other. I'm shit at maths. The rest of it,
right? Okay.
1110. Like in cash, but they've got a representative who'll just come and pick the buckets up, basically.
That's fucking brilliant. That is so.
I'm quite chuffed with that.
That is awesome, man. And I love to think of you. I love to think of you sat around virtually the whole of September with buckets of money in your house.
I know, and I've not actually spent any of it as well. I'm real fucking chuffed with myself. But yeah, I said when we booked it, right, last year we did £714. I was like, this year I want to smash £1,000 in. So like, leading up to it, I was just like, we're going to struggle to get 500 quid at this rate, but we smashed it right in, so I'm quite chuffed.
Oh, that's brilliant, mate. Yeah, that's brilliant. And so this is a bit of an annual thing now.
I don't know, because it was such a nightmare organising it. I was saying right up to the night, I was like, I'm not doing another one after this. I didn't get into being in a band to fucking do this shit.
Yeah.
I can't be arsed with it and all this stuff, but the number of people that have come up to me and said, you need to make this an annual thing because it's been a great night, done a good thing and everything, and there's a few people said, I'll help you organise it. If it's been that much of a problem, I'll help you organise it.
Yeah, you watch where those people go when you say, right, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you know what it's like being in a band. I mean, it's... And the thing, I totally get it. I was speaking to our agent, funnily enough, only today, and I'd had some offers for the band that I'd sent on to her, and she was like, "Oh, thanks for that." I was like, "No worries."
Yeah.
Like I'm going to keep hold of them. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted to book the band, I'd be a fucking agent. I wouldn't be in the band.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's hard, man. It is.
Yeah.
It is hard, especially when you're dealing with like you say, like some guy ripping all of his stomach muscles. Like, where the fuck does that come from?
I know. It just came out of fucking nowhere. That and then because we was going to get some t-shirts made, like with the poster for the gig on it, and like do pre-orders, and then like the money that we made from the t-shirts again was going to go to the charity. But because of when it happened, and then the time that it took for us to get a replacement, we didn't have time to get the t-shirts made.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that put a right fucking bollock on things, but yeah, I mean, at the same time, this is kind of, if you want to, especially at the level that 13 is at, if you want to get gigs and all this stuff, you've just got to put the fucking work in and do it. As much as like I say, I can whinge and say that I didn't get into being in a band to organise shit like that. Unfortunately, if you want to make a name for yourself, you've got to do it, haven't you? So,
yeah.
And not that we did that gig to make a name for ourselves, but at the same time, that is a part of it, isn't it? Unfortunately, you've just got to put the work in.
Yes. Yeah. Well, even more so with every passing month and year, it is about just putting that work in, putting the grind, as I believe it's referred to.
Yeah, exactly. We went out and posted all of the takeaways around the venue area and stuff like that, and we got other people. There's one of the other bands was their bassist works in the printing shop. So he was like, I'll do you the posters, I'll print the posters out for free for you, I'll go and put them out somewhere as well. So they all got put around town, and as I say, we went and did all the takeaways and stuff. So
that's awesome, man.
I think that's what's missing a lot of the time. I think people, and Facebook and the internet are good tools and stuff, but I think people should also do the old school postering and flyering and all this stuff, because it can't hurt.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what I mean? I think that stuff really helps, instead of just relying on the internet, which seems to be the main thing these days.
Yeah, no, well, you're absolutely right. Funnily enough, I was just having a bit of a moan about social media on the front of the podcast, where it's, you know, it's a rule our merch company uses is 100 likes on Facebook equals 1 purchase.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, and it's people want to be seen to be supporting the right things. People want to be seen to be cool on social media. And so what you get is, you know, basically is a side of them that isn't really real. It's you know, who they wish they were in real life. And yeah, you know, like you say, you know, you get all these people saying, oh, you know, we'll be there and blah, blah. And then, oh no, I can't make it, and you know, I mean, But you learn that being in a band, don't you? That the amount of times people are going to say like, oh, well, you know, I've got a very old friend of mine who I'm really good mates with, and they have been saying, you know, they were going to come to a gig on the first Acid Rain comeback tour we did with Zentrix. Then they were going to come to the April gig. Then they were going to come to Bloods. They've not been to one fucking gig.
Right,
do you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I've offered you, you know, you don't have to pay to get in. It's guest list. Apart from drive you to the fucking gig, I've done all. I've done what I can. So I'm kind of like, I'm just going to kind of not bother in future.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I just think, what's the fucking point? But you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know what you mean. I just think, on the day that they might eventually turn up, and that's all. Fair enough if they do.
Yeah.
If they do, it's not. I just think I ain't gonna lose any fucking sleep over it, to be fair. But unless he's doing a fucking charity thing, I've set myself a target, and I start stressing myself out, going, right, what else can I do to meet this fucking target?
So
that's when I start getting a bit frustrated by it.
What was your target?
As I say, £1,000.
So that was your target.
Yeah, that was my target. So I smashed it.
Smashed it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. And how's everything else? You know, are you feeling the after effects at all, or are you just fucking, you know, smashing life in the nuts?
I'm trying to smash life in the nuts. I still get tired quite a lot. But I'm back in the gym now. I'm back up to. I'm approaching my personal best records and stuff like that. I saw this fucking article not long ago where one of the Gallagher brothers from Oasis was complaining about people who play music who exercise. You shouldn't fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not sporty people. But I'm getting up to my fucking personal bests again and stuff like that. Like, I'm approaching them. I'm not near them there. I'm not there yet. I'm not as strong or as fit as I used to be, but I'm getting there. As I say, I still get tired quite a lot, and I still have to have a 20-minute nap when I get home from work and that. But Yeah, I'm getting there, definitely. And my hands are still on my guitar and stuff. They haven't got the strength and the stamina that they used to have. But again, they're not tingling all the time. So I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. That's where I'm at the minute.
Well, you're going to have to get in shape for December, mate.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
hey.
You're right.
That's going to be fucking...
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Acid Rain, we're going out and doing 3 gigs in Leeds, Manchester and Glasgow, and we're taking Re-Animator with us. And, of course, Dan plays in Re-Animator as well as 13. So, yeah, it's going to be fucking awesome, man. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm really
looking forward to it.
Cool. And from the kind of like, is there any sort of mental hangover from the whole thing? Are you know, occasionally do you catch yourself sort of going, fucking hell, I had cancer at the beginning of the year, and you know.
Yeah, I've got quite a lot of that. when I'm pissed, if somebody mentions it, I'm like, I won't stop talking about it, sort of thing.
Right.
I've said to people, like, if I am drinking and it comes up, tell me to fucking shut up because I won't stop talking about it. And I've had to stop myself. I don't want to be one of these people that complains about it all the time because you know, it could have been a lot less, sort of thing. And so it's in the back of my head constantly, and it's at the minute, like when I'm sober and I'm awake and stuff, I've got my fucking chain on. I've got my hand on the fucking dog, and it's not fucking running anywhere.
Yeah.
But every so often, the fucking chain slips out my hand a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
and it goes running up and down the street, knocking people's bins over and pissing in people's gardens.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And it's weird as well. Like, I actually went to hospital on Monday last week for my like checkup thing, and I was just like, I can't believe it's been 4 months since I finished the chemo. But then it feels like it was a million years ago, but it's so weird. It's almost like time sort of stood still in that, like, 5 or 6 months that I was doing the chemo. It's like it was January, and then I blinked, and all of a sudden it's fucking, like, August, September time sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just went like that, and it feels like that portion of time is just completely separate from, and it's just like I all of a sudden became 29, and it was like... Just before, when I started the chemo, I'd not long turned 28. So I think,
right.
It's a weird thing. But then at the same time, you kind of think it was 4 months ago. How the fuck's 4 minutes past? 4 months past, sorry. But then you kind of think it was only 4 months ago. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird thing.
So is there? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of kind of groups for people with cancer to sort of, you know, sort of counselling and stuff. Is there anything kind of like cancer survivors where you can go and, like, you know, be amongst other survivors and all talk about your experiences?
I've not looked into it too much. I did actually get offered counselling and stuff like that. There was another guy who got diagnosed the same time as I did, the first time that I got diagnosed. And he actually got diagnosed with PTSD after he got the all clear from that. So like, I think, I did get offered counselling and stuff, and I never really went ahead with it, which I maybe should look at.
Well, the only reason I bring it up, mate, is like, if you get the chance to do counselling, do it, because you find out about yourself. You find out shit out about yourself you didn't realise.
Yeah.
But the only reason I mention it is that if you're getting drunk, and when you're drunk you can't stop talking about it, it means that has to come out somewhere. So it's like when you get drunk, like you said, you've got your hand on the chain, and when you get drunk, it slips, and that stuff comes out, and it comes out because it wants to come out.
Yeah.
And the reason it's getting out is because your alcohol, the alcohol consumption is letting it out. But it doesn't mean that when you're not drunk, that isn't all still going on and still needs to come out.
Yeah.
You know? It's,
I should probably look into it, to be fair. But
it's, well, you know, it's, I'm different strokes for different folks, but, you know, it's, you might find that, you know, people are going, that, you know, other people are going through a similar situation or whatever.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it give you a chance to just fucking get everything off your chest.
Yeah, true.
Because you clearly want to if you're boring everyone to death when you have a few beers.
yeah.
It's
getting back on the partying wagon a bit again as well. So
oh, really?
Yeah, I went on a stag do at weekend and it was fucking great. I said to him, when we was organising it, I said to the lads, we should go to York. Like, obviously being from Hull and stuff, like, we should go to York because York's just a cool night out. And I said to him, there's no atmosphere in York, like no bad atmosphere in York because it's always really chilled out and all this stuff.
Yeah.
We got there and we kind of brought the atmosphere. My mate ended up getting punched. It was great. So yeah, it was great.
You know you're doing something right if one of you gets punched.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the sign. So was it a stag weekend or a stag night or what?
It was a stag day. We went and did like this sort of activity package thing, and we did like archery, axe throwing, and quad biking, and all this stuff. And then we went out on the piss on York. So it was great.
Fucking hell! I've been on these activity stag weekends before as well. And usually it just consists of like a few enthusiastic people and the rest of the stag party going, no, I'm going to fuck that off, and everyone going, yeah, but you've already paid for it. It's already paid. And you go, yeah, whatever. I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah.
You know. So were you just down there for the night and then stayed over and came back the following day?
Yeah. Well, we stayed in a hostel as well.
Oh, bloody hell!
I know, there was
hardcore
rooms that we had booked. So, and then when we got there, there was like, oh, someone's been booked wrong. You haven't got a room, so it's like 3 of you are going to have to go in like one of the dorm rooms with like a load of other people who were there.
Yeah.
Like sleeping. We was like, we're going to rock up at 2 o'clock in the morning, shit-faced. Are you sure that's a good idea?
Yeah.
But it was like, there's nothing else we can do about it. You can't fucking sleep anywhere if you don't. So like, right, well, you've asked for the fucking complaints then, have you? But we want too bad. Apart from my mate whinging that he got punched. We got chunked out the bar and everything. It was great.
Oh, brilliant. Just being totally inappropriate.
Well, he was, and we said to him the next day, you completely fucking deserved that. And he was like, at first he was like, no, I didn't. And then as the more that he remembered, he was like, oh, actually, yeah, I did. I was being a proper prick, wasn't I? He was like, yeah, you was. So, it was great.
Oh, that's awesome. It certainly sounds like you're. It sounds like you're pretty much back to normal.
Yeah, I'm definitely making a go of it.
That's awesome. Have you had any band practices?
Oh yeah. We've been practicing loads. We've been practicing with both bands. I'm not sure how much. I always try to be a bit cagey about Re-Animator and stuff because I don't know what Kevin and John want me to give away.
Yeah.
But we've got stuff planned basically with Re-Animator, and I think people are going to be pretty excited about it. Is all I'll say for that. 13, we're recording. We're booked in to record our next album on the 19th of October.
Wow.
We're going to spend a week recording that, so we've just been hammering the songs, making sure they're all length and like sharp and everything. And
so are you going to be trying to flog 13 CDs at Re-Animator's merch stall then?
I probably will, to be honest. That's a really good idea.
oh, brilliant! I'm going to get the fucking blame for this now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Yeah. It said we can. Don't worry about it.
It's all his idea. Yeah. Fucking hell. Oh, that's awesome. So, I mean, so you had to put the whole thing on hold while you sort of. So this was all written pre-cancer, was it?
Half of it was. I wrote some of the songs during the chemo.
Right.
They're not like all cancer ballads. So
no. Damn.
No. So I wrote some of them during the chemo. We practiced a little bit with 13 while I was doing the chemo, like because the place that we practice at with Re-Animator is like a proper metal band practice room, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, you can imagine the fucking hygiene situation one of those.
Yeah.
No offence to the place, because it is it, before anyone accuses me of slagging it off. But the other place, the rooms are smaller, and they have different. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just cleaner.
Right.
I said to them exactly how clean your rooms, and there was like, well, I tell you what, we know what's happening. We'll go in and scrub the place. We'll scrub all the carpets on the walls for you before you go in.
Wow.
Anytime you want to practice. So that was really fucking cool. So we was able to. I didn't use the mics, obviously, because you don't want to be sharing a mic with fuck knows how many people while you've got no immune system. But yeah, guitar-wise, we kept on with it, like, as much as we could. There's, like, the week that I did the chemo, I couldn't practice because I just felt like dog shit. But, like, if we could maybe practice the week after or the week after that, then we would. So, yeah, we kept our hand in a little bit. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And I can't believe, probably one of the most fucking naff questions there is, but how's your hair?
It's back. It's back with a vengeance.
You lucky bastard.
And you should look into it, Edge.
I could do with a nice bit of cancer.
Yeah. But and to be fair, my ginger mate at work, he says to me, "Oh, what are you gonna do if it comes back ginger like man?" I was like, asking for more chemo. Thanks. Yeah. So, I'm only kidding.
No, it's all right.
I was joking.
Gingers deserve it. Gingers deserve it all. Don't worry about it.
But, yeah, so it's back. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit lighter and it's a little bit curlier than it was before. But it's completely back. So I'm gonna be going for my first haircut, which is weird.
Yeah.
First haircut this year.
I could just imagine you sit down in the chair and the girl's there. So what? What have you been up to then? It's like right. How long since your last
When do I start?
With things, you'd be like, how long since your last haircut? You'd be like, January. And they'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's all back now. People are quite disappointed, to be honest, because they haven't got the cue ball thing to rag me for anymore.
Yeah, look, they're missing it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. There was a few people who's like, first time I went to the gym, so he's like, "Oh, so is that a summer cut then?" I'm like, nope, cancer cut, thank you very fucking much. They were like, "Shit, really?" He was like, "Yeah, did you not? I see you every day in the gym, and I've not been here for fucking 6 months."
Yeah.
So,
fucking hell.
But yeah.
Cool, man. Well, look, mate. I speak for everybody listening. Say it's great to have you back, and I'll get.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure we'll end up doing we'll probably end up doing some one-on-one podcasts when we're out on the road together, bro.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. We'll do some proper rock and roll.
Each other on the tour buses and
some proper heavy metal fucking podcasting going on there. Right, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, man.
Thanks for sparing the time. Look after yourself.
No worries.
Take care.
Cheers,
mate.
Bye.
Bye. And that was literally, I just hung up a couple of minutes ago, and there you go. It's almost like a live podcast, but not quite. It's really good to catch up with Dan again. I hope you're all as pleased as I am that he's back out and kicking ass, man. So that's cool, so cool. And this has been a cool podcast. Well, it's hardly for me to say, is it? But hopefully you've enjoyed it. A little shorter than usual, but you had the James Murphy one, which was like pretty gigantic this month. So, you know, I can only do so much. I don't want to spoil you. As always, please do spread the word. Please do spread the word about the podcast. I can't stress that enough. Share it wherever you can. If you happen to be in iTunes and you see it, give me a review. Just look, it's an absolute pleasure. I say it every month, but it's an absolute pleasure to be in your ears. It really is. Even if that was a little creepy. It is. It genuinely is. I sit here jabbering away like you're in the room. Rolling your eyes, going, "Oh fucking hell, Howard, really?" And I can't blame you. But it is. You know, we're a cool little community, the Bollocast community, and if you have just joined us through hearing about like the James Murphy thing or whatever. You know, it's really good. I know I have picked up some new followers, new subscribers. So to all of you, thank you very much. It's nice to have you on board. Go back through the back catalogue. There's all sorts of interesting stuff in there. And the Channel Zero one, if you've listened to them all, if you think, oh, Channel Zero, some Belgian metal band, not quite sure about that, listen to that one, because you will never hear anything like it. Seriously, listen to it. That's my advice. Anyway, this is a bit weird. I'm plugging my own episodes, but not this one. Look, guys, it's been absolutely great. Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to leave you now with a little snippet of audio that I found on my laptop, and I wasn't sure what it was, and I played it, and it's an outtake. This whole thing is me trying to get through to Mike Alvord of Holy Terror, and it's when it all went pear-shaped and we couldn't get each other on Skype. And this is just, it's not great to listen to, so don't get excited, not that you would, but it just gives you some idea of the fucking technological fucking nightmares that we have sometimes behind the scenes. When I say we, I mean me. Anyway, till next time, till October, take care. Speak to you then. Aha. Hi, Mike, are you there? Right. This is an absolute pain in the butt, it really is. Right, okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, thank you. For some reason, I don't know why my speaker has decided to stop working, which is bizarre. Hang on a sec. Right, okay. Are you there? Are you there? Right, for some reason I've got no sound whatsoever. I can't hear you, mate. This is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it is. Bearing in mind that we spoke a few minutes ago, so I don't know what was happening there, but I did have something come up and say needs to access your sound card. So I'm sorry about this. I tell you what, look, let's give it 5 minutes. 1:45. Yeah, exactly. The mystery. Too fucking right. Can you give me 5 minutes? I'll sort it out this end, and I'll give you a call back. I'm really sorry about this. Immensely unprofessional. But believe you me, it'll be worth it. It'll be the best interview you've ever done. There you go. No pressure. Okay, cool. I'll speak to you in 5. Cheers. Oh, hang on. No, I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing the little bleeps. This is right. Okay, it's obviously an issue with. Just stay with me for 1 second, because I'm going to go into options. Running commentary on man tries to fix Skype. This is the highlight of your day. Let's have a look. Right, video settings. Don't need to know about those. Audio settings. Come on, what are we doing here? Yeah, speakers. Why aren't you working? Ah, right, okay. Okay. Mike, are you there? Because I'm actually not hearing you. Right, okay. I've got everything working this end, but I can't hear you. Right, actually, just looking at the signal, my signal's shocking this end. I'm going to call you back, and let's see if I can hear you and we can get cracking. I'm going to call you back in 2 secs. And it went on from there. We didn't speak in 2 seconds. It went. I've just cut about another 5 minutes of me fumbling around and weird noises. So anyway, what a way to go out. Speak to you next month.